Hey everybody, it's Connie with SimplySimpleStamping.com. Thanks so much for stopping by for my video today. Guys, we're going to be creating this very simple vintage card. You know, vintage can be a bit of a struggle, but with the Timeless Texture stamp set, this is a fabulous element stamp set. I kind of let the stamps do all the work. It's so simple. So let's get started with our card today. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about the cardstock you're going to need for today's card. My card base today is Crumb Cake. I thought this was going to look really pretty. I've got an 8.5 by 5.5 scored at 4 1/4 inch. Now my layering pieces, Tranquil Tide. I thought looked gorgeous on that crumb cake. It is cut 4 inches by 5 1/4. Then layered on top of that is a Very Vanilla, and that piece is 3 3/4 by 5 inches. I've also got just a scrap piece here of crumb cake, enough that I can punch out those 2 flowers. I believe my piece here is about 2 inches by 4 1/4 inches. The first thing we want to do is we want to do the tearing edge, and I have a great tip on that. I'm going to use my aqua painter, and I'm just gently going to squeeze the barrel. I have mine filled with rubbing alcohol. I just felt like it tore a little bit better, but by moistening this cardstock, it's going to tear really nice, and I'm not at all worried about that rubbing alcohol because it's going to dry really nice, and you can see it tears, and it's just like butter when it goes through. So we'll tear the edge of this cardstock. I'm going to repeat that same thing here with the Very Vanilla cardstock. And I'm just going to go ahead and check it, and if there's any additional tearing I need to do, now's the time to do it. But you know what? I think I'm really quite happy with that. The 2 stamp sets I'm going to use for my cards today, I'm going to use Timeless Textures. You see, this is just a really great, just kind of an Elements stamp set, a really fabulous one. And then I'm going to use the Birthday Blossoms. I'm going to use that flower there and the Have a Beautiful Birthday. Any of the sentiments will work. I decided to go with a birthday card. I'm going to focus solely on just 2 ink pads today, the Crumb Cake and the Tranquil Tide. And I'm going to go ahead and start with the Tranquil Tide. I love this little, almost like just a mesh stamp. Let's go ahead and stamp that here on the left side. And again, up here at the top. I'm not worried about those 2 meeting up because my flowers are going to cover that. I'm now going to bring in this just kind of swirl floral image. And let me show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to stamp once. I'm going to stamp twice. And I'm going to stamp 3 times. Again, it just kind of softens things and gives it a nice look. Let's go ahead now and stamp our sentiment. And I have the Have a Beautiful Birthday. We can put that right there. And here I have stamped the 2 flowers. Now I can come in with the matching pansy punch, and I can give those a punch. And that is all of the Tranquil Tide. Now we can come in with the Crumb Cake. I don't know what to call this. I don't know, some kind of wood texture or something. I'm going to stamp that in Crumb Cake. Let's put that inside that mesh. And now we have just some little splotchy dotches. Dotches? I don't know what that is. Okay, so you can see I'm stamping those 3 times before re-inking. We just want to kind of give it just a nice look. Now, that's great, but ooh, that's awfully stark. We need to soften this up. So let me come in with a sponge, and I'm just going to ink up. This is just about 1/4 of a sponge. And let's soften up those edges. See, you can already see this is giving it a lot more of a vintage look. Let's go ahead and do this all the way around our card. There we go. You can see that's softening things up nicely. Now, I have finished sponging all the card, and there's probably just a little bit of ink left. I'm just going to tap this on, and I don't know if you can kind of see it there in the video, but I'm really just kind of dirtying up that Very Vanilla. Again, I don't want to re-ink. I don't want a lot of ink on here. I literally just want to kind of use any leftover residue. As you see that more of it's coming off, you can press a little bit harder. Let's go ahead and bring our card base in. I want to soften up the edges of that as well. Most of this is going to be covered up, so really I'm just kind of softening the edges. I don't know what it is about sponging. I find it to be so relaxing, and it's just one of my favorites and a great way to just soften up any card. Okay, I've got that done. Let's go ahead and kind of start putting, oh, you know what? I need to do the same thing. Let's do a little sponging on these flowers. They're just a little too bright. So we're gonna just go ahead and sponge away on our flowers. Can you see the difference that makes? It really does make a difference and really kind of gives it more of that vintage look. And this Birthday Blossom stamp set and of course the timeless textures really lend itself beautifully to this vintage look. I want to bring my other card in for just a second. And can you see how the edges of some of my cardstock are a little more distressed? You can go ahead and do that. You could leave it like it is, but let me go ahead and show you how to add a little bit of an extra distressed look. I'm going to come back in with that aqua painter and the rubbing alcohol. And I'm just going to add a little bit there. Here, we don't need to go crazy. I'm going to take my paper snips and I'm just going to rub it along that cardstock. Look at that. Boom. I mean, so fast. Again, the aqua painter really makes that easy. And I can do that to all 3 sides here. Beautiful. And as I said, any of that rubbing alcohol, that's going to dry. If I would like to, I can do the same thing here on my Very Vanilla. I'm going to do it here on the back just because I don't want to smear any of that ink. Whoops, let's go ahead and do the scissors on this side. I mean, look how easy that is. It's not even an effort. I love it. Beautiful. All right, let's go ahead and come in. You can use Fast Fuse, you can use Snail, whatever your favorite adhesive is. My Fast Fuse just happened to be sitting here, so that's what we're going to go with. We can simply adhere those together. Let's now put that on our card base. And now for these flowers, I want to kind of distress them too. So I'm just going to brush on some of that rubbing alcohol. It softens up the cardstock. Let's just, you know, look, this is great. You can take some aggression out, you know, the dog pooped on the floor again. You can just take it all out on these flowers. Remember, you do want to add that alcohol to the back because we really don't want that to hit any of the ink itself. All right, I have those done. Let's go ahead and adhere these. We're going to adhere these down onto the card. And I'm going to put that on just a little ski-wampus. I love these gold gems. They're so wonderful. And they just kind of added a little nice touch to my flower. That was just a little flat for me. But look, that little gold gem, it just fits so nicely in there. God, I do love how this card turned out. You know, vintage, that style is very difficult for me. I always had a hard time stamping it, but this one, and again, that stamp set, so simple to do. I love it. And you know, that little gold gem, I think just really kind of makes the card. It has that vintage look as well. So guys, I hope that you'll give this card a try and definitely give that distressing look a try. I'm telling you what, your aqua painter makes it so simple. No dinged up cardstock. It's awesome. So be sure to check it out. Now listen, if you need to get more information on today's card, head over to simplysimplestamping.com and just look for the September 8th, 2017 blog post. I'll have all the information there that you need. I'll have the measurements. And then if you need to order any of the supplies, I'll have a complete supply list. You can just click on a pick and it'll take you right to my online store. You can order what you need right there. Guys, thank you so much for being a part of the video today. I hope you enjoyed today's card. Have a fabulous day. We'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.